Hello, ladies, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good night tonight. So it is Wednesday, 8 p.m., and we're going to have our live tonight. So we have a special guest tonight. My best friend, Maureen, is going to join us. I don't know why there's feedback. I'm sorry for that. But Maureen, yay!
Hello. I don't hear anything, so.
Awesome. That's good. Maybe it'll go away now. So I just wanted to welcome you. I'm so glad you could come. And we're just going to talk, you and I, so don't be nervous or anything like that. So we are going to talk about knowing yourself. So
Okay.
that's the conversation tonight. So the other night, you and I were talking, and you were telling me about how your grandfather would tell you that some people have wings and others don't. Tell me what that meant to you.
Okay. Well, my grandfather used to say a lot of things to me. I think I was a lot like him. I think he saw a lot of him in me. So he would say these things. And like when I was a kid, I didn't know what that meant, but he would say, some people have wings, some people don't, and you have wings. And I did, when you're little, like he didn't tell me it all the time, but several times over the years. And as I got older, I didn't really know what it meant until I was much older, like in 40 and up. Most people are super, super afraid of change. That is one of the biggest fears out there. I am not afraid of change. I welcome it. I can't wait for it. If nothing is changing, sometimes I change. I'll move states, I'll move houses, I'll get a different job. Sometimes not that drastic. Sometimes I'll change my hair color. I'm blonde. I've been red. My hair color is dark, but I am good with change. I often say to myself, like, I cannot wait to see what comes next. I can't wait to see what happens next and what my next adventure is. But for a long time, that attitude was tough for me. My mom, I used to move around and like I said, move different houses. I moved to Connecticut when I was 18, right out of high school. Then I moved to Michigan for a while. Then I moved back to Illinois. And then I moved. And my mom it would frustrate her because she's not a wing person. My sister's not a wing person. My brother's not a wing person. So it would give them anxiety. My mom used to tell me, like, you need stability. You need to settle down. You need to stay in one spot. So with that always like being told and being, this is what you need to do. And my grandfather and my father had passed away by then. So that influence was gone. I always felt bad. Like there was something wrong with me, that I felt like I was never satisfied, but that wasn't it at all. It was just, I'm done with this. And that's not a bad thing. I'm done with this. I'm done living in this spot. I want to see what else I can do. I'm done doing this job. I want to see what else there is. So it took me a long time. And it was way after my divorce. Bella was probably a teenager. And one day it hit me what that meant. And those words came back to me, that my grandfather telling me, some people have wings and you have wings. And he was trying to tell me to embrace it. And my dad used to always say to me, go see everything, do everything, don't settle. He used to tell me, I don't want to offend anybody, but
it's just us.
Okay, if you end up a housewife, I will be disappointed. And he didn't mean that as a dig to housewives. My sister is, and she's extremely happy. He just knew that wasn't who I was. And he used to tell me, if you live in this town your whole life, I will be disappointed. Go do everything. And I think, my dad and my grandfather never got the chance to do that, just the times, and they were heads of household and they couldn't do that. So I think, they really encouraged me to always get out of your comfort zone and never get too comfortable. But for 20 years of, from 20 to 40, I felt almost bad about that part of myself. And then from 40 till now, which is I'm a couple years over 40, embrace it and I love it. And I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm happy to tell you my address is changing. I'm happy to tell you that I'm doing this or doing that. And this, all the traveling I did, I wouldn't change any of it. And I raised an amazing daughter.
Yes, you did.
Around a lot. I gave her stability as far as the school and stuff, but we would, go to New York for a weekend. We would do other wing things rather than always moving her house. We would just do other stuff. She was a model for a while. We went to LA for 2 months and she filmed commercials, got bored with it, and we came back home. Fine. I homeschooled her for 2 months. Like those sorts of things are what we did. And she turned out great.
She's pretty good.
She is. She's
so amazing. When you said this to me the other night, it made a light bulb go off in my head. And it made me think of just a couple of weeks ago when my daughter was in the hospital having her second set of twins. For those of you who don't know, I have 3 sets of twins in my grandchildren. I have 15 grandchildren, which, yes, is pretty freaking awesome. Anyway, and when my daughter was in the hospital, I had her older children, which are 2 4.5-year-olds, and love them to death. But I was exhausted. And I remember feeling like I did back when my children were really little. And I would have an issue with being home with them and just feeling like my brain was turning into mush.
Yeah.
There was nothing happening up here. And I remember that feeling of like, I just felt like I didn't have anything I wasn't contributing in any way to my life or society or whatever. It just was useless. And of course, that's never a feeling anyone likes, right? But I thought it was interesting that as a grandmother and 30 plus years after I had my children, I'm having the same feeling. Because I thought, I always thought that if I had my kids when I was older, I would have felt better about being an at-home mom. I would have had more patience. I would have made different decisions. I know. Exactly. But it took that process of having those children here for 4 days at 49 to say it wouldn't have been any different.
No.
I would have been just as impatient. I would have been feeling just as trapped. And I love children. Absolutely 1,000%. I love my children. I would never want to not have them in my life.
Of course.
So, I mean, it's not that. It's just that when you said that, if that light bulb went off, because to me, then I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I am a wing person. But
you have wings.
Because I don't come from a line of wing people at all.
I don't
the opposite.
The two. Yeah.
Right. But my family are farmers. They're people of the earth. So they are really rooted, almost literally.
Deep roots, yes.
Yeah. And so it was really strange to have this person that was not that way. But I didn't know it growing up either.
Well, that's the thing. When you don't have anybody or any of that reinforcement telling you that this isn't wrong, and it's not, your parents didn't stifle you on purpose. They just couldn't relate to that part of you. So I was fortunate to have somebody who can. No, you didn't know what that was. But now I know we had talked about the other night, one of your daughters does have wings, and we talked about that. But now that you see it, you can encourage it, and then she can encourage it in her children even younger than that it's okay to do these things, and you can do it. Like I said, I raised my daughter. She was in the same school district from the time she was in kindergarten until she graduated high school. She's had lifelong friends. That part I didn't want to make gypsy-like or nomad-like, but I also didn't want to do the same thing day in and day out. So we would do things like take a trip, or we would go rent a hotel room and just eat junk food and watch scary movies. I would have scary movie parties for her and her friends when they were probably too young to watch scary movies, but that's another conversation. Parenting styles. But we would just do silly, stupid, crazy things. Not stupid in the harmful, just whim. I had a disco ball in my house. we had a big, great room that was the kitchen and the family room and the dining, it was all this one big giant room. And there was like a beam across, and I hung a disco ball there because that's fun. Just things like that, just little things that are unexpected, and it just makes you happy. I change the furniture around if I was bored, just little things to make you stay on your toes, to keep embracing change, because it's coming. It's coming. And, back to like wanting change. I remember with you, helping me through a breakup a few years back, 4 or 5 years ago now, that I was really struggling. And you had said to me, I don't remember the words, but basically you were like, there's something coming. Just know that something is coming. This is ending, and that's okay. Something else great is coming. And it did. And it took a long time, but I took those words to heart and became okay being by myself again. And I've always been good being by myself. And then out of nowhere, it happened again.
It did. Yeah, exactly.
I'm very happy. And I get to travel and go on mini vacations every month.
But that's the key, though, is knowing yourself and knowing what makes you happy. So the disco ball, that makes you happy. I mean, who wouldn't it make happy?
All right.
People who wouldn't, but right. But how many people would have the nerve to hang a disco ball in the middle of their house? Like maybe as a college kid, but not as a single mom raising a preteen.
She was like 8 at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They loved it.
But I think that's the important thing, is that you have always been honest with yourself about who you are. And you had people around you when you were growing up who encouraged you to know who you are, because they could see who you were.
Yes.
And so then they were like, hey, this is your path. It's different than your sister. It's different than your brother. Right. And it's okay. And I think that's what I want to get across right now more than anything, is every single one of us have our own path.
Right.
You knew when you were very young that was your path, that you were going to be more of a free spirit. Mm-hmm. Family knew that for you. I didn't know that at all until the last couple of years of my life. Yet we're friends. And that's the cool thing, is we're such opposites, yet we're such great friends. And it's because we can respect that in each other, that, you know what, it's like, hey, all of this is a journey. Every step that we take every day is like a process of learning something.
Yeah.
And I say that if you stop learning, you're dead. So
I absolutely agree with that. That is 100% true. But I feel like it made me sad in some ways, like for my grandfather, who I know was such a free spirit kind of person, but he had some tragedies happen to him, some tragedies, some just life things, but he wasn't able to do that. And my father, same thing. He was sick at a young age and died at a fairly young age. So he never had that opportunity to go and do all these things. So I think that both of them seeing that in me, that curious, but not just curious, like curious with the, I don't know if I could say that word. with the
I don't even know what word you're trying to say.
It's not bad, but to have the guts to do it, like I wouldn't be afraid. I would be afraid, but I would do it anyway. So I think, it makes me happy that they did that for me, but at the same time, it's very sad. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who feel this way, who feel like you did when you had your kids, stuck and guilty for feeling stifled. It has nothing to do with the kids. It's that, or the husband or the house. It's that your spirit, your core is telling you, do something. And it doesn't have to be move to Connecticut, move to Michigan, go. It could be buy a disco ball and put it in your house, or change your furniture around, or paint your walls. Jen and I, for everyone out there, Jen and I will paint a room on a whim like that. Like we will be, yeah. I don't like blue anymore. And so she's over with can of paint and we will paint and redo, hang some wallpaper, but just anything like that, just to get a little bit of that out in you, that free spiritness out, just to make some sort of a difference in your life.
It reminds me of like when I was a kid, I was constantly rearranging my bedroom. None of my other siblings did that. Yep. I did it constantly. I remember specifically at one point, it was the cool thing to take your mattress off of your bed frame and put it
on the floor. Oh, yes. The best. Oh, my gosh.
I was that kid.
I did that too. Yes. My dad was not happy.
My mom was not real excited about it, but she let me do it.
Why do you care? Why would you care?
Well, and that was the thing. I think she, I think that, there's a right way to do things.
Well, that's exactly right.
So people are really stuck on that. Not that my mom is, but some people are really stuck on that. Yeah. And I used to be, especially as a teen mom, because you feel like you're being judged all the time.
I can imagine. I can't. And
I mean, even if you're not a teen mom, you feel like people are judging you all the time when you're out with your children.
Sure.
And so it's like you make choices that you're like, what's the right thing, even if it's maybe not
right for you.
Best for you and your kids, right, because you're afraid of the judgment of someone else. But just like what you said about taking your daughter out to LA, homeschooling her for 2 months and doing the modeling thing. I mean, that is an experience that she'll never forget.
That's right. And I got judged. There were plenty of moms who were like, that's ridiculous. She's going to fall behind in school, blah, blah. I'm like, she's in 2nd grade. I am a college educated professional. I think I can handle her math class. I'm an accountant. I think I can handle 2 + 2 homeschool.
I mean, if you were for math, it'd probably be okay. But like for my kids, if I was going to do that, it would have to be like elementary school, because I wouldn't have been able to do math or science.
I also had 4 of them. So that's much different. But 2nd grade,
well, yeah, there's no way.
Handle following a workbook for a 2nd grader. Like,
right.
It wasn't even about that. It was just people, again, it was out of the norm. It was something they wouldn't do. Therefore, it's weird and wrong. And it's weird is what it comes down to. It's different. It's weird. But I also had friends, like our mutual friend that I'm going with this weekend, very supportive. Like I had plenty, my family was very supportive, and I didn't care about everybody else. I couldn't, because she wanted to do it. So, okay, let's do it. I have she did a presidential ad. I'm not going to say who for, but I have that on video, and she's in a commercial. I have her, she did a Saturday Night Live episode. Like, it's cool. It's fun to be an adult and go, yeah, I did that. Yeah, look, that's me.
Oh, yeah.
This magazine or whatever.
She had her 15 seconds of fame when she was in 2nd grade.
And then she was like, you know what? I really want to play spring softball. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're going back.
Go back home.
Play softball. Forget the movies. She wants to play softball. So we did. We came back home. That was it. I'm not going to force her to, it wasn't about that. It was just about having some fun.
And well, it was about knowing yourself. And because you knew yourself, you know your daughter. Mm-hmm. You knew what her limits were. Yep. And you could teach her to know herself. I do think that I was pretty good at teaching my daughters to know and listen to their bodies.
Good. I
just wasn't as good with the brain part, with knowing their emotions and their feelings and their heart as well. But I also know that I would just kind of follow them wherever they would go, as much as we could do it. Yeah. I mean, I know I did that. I tried. But again, with 4 kids, there's only so much you can do.
Well, absolutely. And you were young, and it didn't have a ton of life experience to draw on. And I'm sure you didn't have a ton of friends your age with kids. So
and I'm not a college person.
I did it. I hope that did not sound ugly. I didn't mean it like that.
No, you didn't.
Just man, I can handle 2nd grade math.
No.
But those are just people who are, I don't know, scared to do it or unhappy in their own lives. So I don't argue with anybody about it. I just keep going and don't listen to them. I'm not an argumentative person.
Yeah.
I think that we had talked about, like, just encouraging them to be who they are. I'm not sure yet if Bella is a wing person. I think she might have one wing. And I think she likes the stability a lot. And I know that she's not as free spirit as me, I don't think. But she also knows that if she is, it's okay. And she knows that when I want to do something, as long, as it's not harmful or whatever, do it. And I tell them all the time, Bella, my nieces, my nephew's married now, but go do everything. Go do everything. Go see everything. Just like my dad told me, don't, while you're young, you have to work the rest of your life. You will be putting into a 401k the rest of your life. Take 2 years, a year, 6 months. You might be done with it in a month. Go do something. Go see stuff. Just go enjoy everything you can while you can. I mean,
and I would say that, you said your nephew who's married now, well, just because he's married doesn't mean he can't fly.
well, they had a baby. They just had a baby.
Well, but
And they're
again,
in
it doesn't
quarantine.
mean they can't.
No, absolutely.
It just
Absolutely.
means you make different choices in your life. I mean,
Yeah.
like my aunt and uncle, they were Peace Corps people, volunteers for years and years, and even after they got married. And then once they had children, then they stayed a little more stable, had a home and built a home for themselves. But then their boys both ended up doing different things like Peace Corps too. So, some of this is just there. It's there.
They're
And you
watching,
have
and
to
they're watching
okay.
all the time. Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
So, well,
course,
this
that's
has
great.
been a really fun conversation, and I'm so glad that you joined me. And I hope that you can come back next week, and we're going to do it again.
I am.
I think
coming back.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. I had fun. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Maureen. So I just want to tell everyone, thank you so much again for coming out and joining us. We really do appreciate it. And hopefully you got some value from this, just understanding yourself and wherever you are, to understand that that's where you are and figure out where you want to go and be okay with it and own it, as they say, whoever they are. So also, if you got some value from this, we are going to have our personal growth series on emotional intelligence. That is going to be starting up on February 15th. We would love to have you join us for that. We're going to do lives like this every night, Monday through Friday that week. You will get an ebook. You will also get a workbook so that you can work through your emotions, understanding them, managing them, and being motivated to improve yourself. So if you're interested in that, we will put a link in the comments. There is a free registration, but we would love to have you come out and join us. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Hope you all have a great night. Bye-bye now.